and welcome back everyone to Trekyards Mission Briefing, a weekly dose of discussion, review, theorization, and all the good stuff about a ship, station, shuttle, something or other in the Trek universe, from canon, non-canon, side-canon, game canon, and just stuff people have invented because some fans make some really cool things too. And today is one of those cool things, but it's more official. And a bit... Or did it happen? I mean, is it a real ship? That is a question. How are you doing, Stuart? Are you real? I think you are, but maybe not. What are we looking at today?
I am not real.
Shall I... You have existence then?
Oh, yeah. There you go. Thank you. That's a pretty big universe. Wow. Look at that. Cool. All right. So today on Mission Briefings, we're doing Captain Picard's ship, kind of, because she was a Picard.
This one. The one with
the
the belly.
USS Pasteur, which is a hospital ship, medical ship, and it's very cool. And I don't have that Eagle Moss ship. I need to get that. If you guys want the Eagle Moss ship, you can get it. Click the Eagle Moss link down in our description below and select the ship. You can get it yourself. Oh my god, it looks amazing actually. And yeah, and check out, just use discount code Trekyards and save some money.
But we have an Eagle Moss sponsorship, so save some money by ordering through Trekyards. Yes, and this is the Eagle Moss model made by Fabio, so it's custom made for Eagle Moss, because I mean there was never a CG model because it was the last physical miniature made for TNG, and a really great job, I think. He did a really cool model. So now we are going to compare it to the Daedalus, so we can save that comparison, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But what do you think about this design then? The only truly canon, solidly canon
what?
Ship, because I mean the Daedalus is on a desk. It's never actually a ship in the show. I mean, this one is actually a ship in the show.
I like it.
Yeah,
it's a cool design. It maximizes space in that sphere. Lots of room in there, so lots of internal volume, which is neat. And also that secondary hull. Just look at how much room is in that.
Yep.
And it's a nice, elegantly designed ship. A lot of people hate this ship. I don't understand the hate for it. It's nice.
It's a surprisingly working, bulky ship. Like, it doesn't feel fat and unbearable. Somehow the lines are smooth enough, sleek enough. I mean, it's not a pretty ship in the sense of a, ship of the fleet. Ship of the fleet going forward, being the main ship. No, this is the ship that you leave behind and be the hospital and saves a million lives. This is the... And it has those sorts of elements in terms of space. It's just not pretty. I really dig it. I think it's a cool design. It is a future design. I said in the intro, is it really a real ship? Because obviously this is from a parallel universe, or at least an alternate future, in which we see, in all good things, there's the three timelines. There's the present, the a kind of Farpoint timeline, and the future timeline, when Picard has got aromatic syndrome, and then the other Picard, the Crusher Picard, has got her own ship, and Worf is an ambassador, and the Negvars are still powerful. Enterprise D is refitted to the so it's the future with warp 13, so the future, but doesn't necessarily say where it's been designed. Does it feel like a future ship? If you didn't know, would you have said? Or is
if I didn't know,
yeah.
No, I would have said maybe Ambassador class era, that kind of. I mean, it has that look. It has that kind of era look. I would like to see a TMP version of this, to be honest. That'd be kind of cool. But yeah, I would not necessarily have said the future ship at all. But I mean, it's just the detailing. The detailing does say that, certain little aspects of it, right? So yeah, it's hard to say.
I think the only real future piece is the nacelles. The fact they've got only a single inner grille, and obviously they're tweaked different details, but it's a different styling. That's not Ambassador class. That's era. That's not Enterprise D era. That's not refit. A single inner grille is TOS, but you got the facade, so it is its own entity in terms of that. It's a small detail, but these are built, designed engines that can go warp 13 or whatever. I mean, it's a different style, And I think it's just like Kit Bash Enterprise D nacelles. They went on their side, is my, guess. if you look at rough shapes, you could probably take that. But Stuart, as I mentioned earlier, this was a miniature, and while I think Fabio did an amazing job, next picture here is the miniature, and it looks the same. It's the CG. It's really well done.
It's got to be something. You got to say miniatures are just awesome. Something has to be said for miniatures. I kind of miss the days of having miniatures for ships. I mean, even the Orville has a miniature as well, right? A lot of shows just do CGI now, which is kind of a shame, but I love seeing the miniatures. The detail on them is incredible. I love the orange element that will later glow blue.
It's true. It's true. Yeah, miniatures are a weird thing because when done properly, they can look. I mean, one of the only reasons Star Wars, really, really holds up the original is because the CG is so good, because it is all really good miniatures with simple visual effects and added. I mean, the film itself looks good, but if that was cheesy, if that was Last Starfighter level CG, it would not have aged as well. It wouldn't be a timeless classic as much as, well, it's great, but look at those visuals. It was groundbreaking. It still looks amazing because miniatures, the detail's real. But as you saw in All Good Things, the movements of these ships are super limited. So I really appreciate CG because now you can get really dynamic motions. That's why. Depends how you do CG, obviously. But yeah, really great miniature. But I mean, it didn't need to be too big because it's a relatively small player in the episode, and they never get too close. But in terms of detail, I mean, it's all there. I think they've focused on color detail. So a lot of different levels. It's not that clean white of the Connie. It's not. I mean, there's so many little bits of detail all over that it fills up the frame, so there don't need to be, too many physical details because there's so many color details and decal details and stuff. I think it makes it stand out.
Yeah, I just have a real appreciation for physical models because I build them, so I just love seeing them.
Yes. Now, Stuart, scale, and this is a weird one. What are your thoughts on scale?
Judging by the windows and all that, it seems pretty big. I mean, if you compare those long windows to the long windows on the Enterprise D saucer, it seems like it's a fairly big ship. Not as big as the Enterprise, obviously. I'd say maybe half the size of the Enterprise D. It's bigger than a Constitution class, obviously, with the old style.
See, this is a weird one because it was never specifically, in the show how big it was. Obviously, it's since, and so what I did is there's no official number for this ship. So obviously, when Fabio built the model, they scaled it to a certain amount, and he, has done a lot of these ships, and so I used his default scaling, which was the light rig and stuff. So disclaimer, that's what it is for this. But I mean, they try and make it all make sense when they model and when they scale. So there you go. This is it at this Fabio Eagle Moss determined scale. But if you look at the windows, I mean, they're very comparable to the Voyager size windows. And they might just want bigger windows because, a window, they're there to look out of. But if things are hostile, then you want more. If you're next to a planet, maybe seeing a planet with a nebula might make you feel better. So have a 10% bigger window, whereas the next one has smaller windows because they're portholes, So you can sort of argue that, but what do you think?
It seems way too small for me.
Okay.
See, I would think the secondary hull on the Pasteur would be about the same size as the Intrepid at least, and then the ball one. But that could be me. I could be wrong, but I just see it as such a future ship, and being a hospital ship, it is designed to have a lot of room inside.
Yes.
A lot of. Which it still does, even in this case. Like I said, that sphere really opens up your internal volume quite a bit. It just seems a little small, but I guess that might work.
Yeah, and I was actually looking at the side view anyway, so it does feel bigger in the side view. I agree. The top view is very small, actually. That's funny. Again, like I said, default scale. Take that as what you will. But the next picture was a side view, which suddenly amps up. Amps up a lot more. I mean, you can see the window scale is a bit more close. I mean, it's still. I mean, if there's no science labs, I mean, because I would assume that you'd sort of want a fast reaction hospital ship. Most colonies aren't, okay, if there's a plague that's the entire planet. I mean, we've seen the Enterprise D deal with these things, but even they aren't dedicated. But if the entire secondary hull is hospital rooms, that's a lot of hospital rooms.
Mm-hmm.
Same with the saucer. I mean, well, the ball. I mean, Voyager's very split between what it can do. Even a single cargo bay is huge, but it's still a lot of. I mean, if you look at the decks, I mean, window size of decks, it's got a lot of decks, and if each deck has a lot of rooms, I mean,
Yeah. Well, there'd be a lot of medical research labs and incubation areas and a whole bunch of different things like that. Isolation wards for So, it just the idea of a hospital ship in Star Trek is really cool. I really like that, and this one really fits the bill. When I first saw it, I didn't like this ship too much, but the more I've seen it over the years, it's really grown on me, and it makes a lot of sense. So, plus it ties in with the old Daedalus class, which really made me smile.
Yeah, it was like the last TNG ship. It's like, ooh, cool. Yeah. You went right to the start. It's nice. And I count about 21 decks and windows, so just to give you a sense of that.
Makes sense.
But you mentioned Daedalus, perfect time, boom. Now there is no official scale for the Daedalus. There is no official scale as far as I can tell from this ship. So I've just piled them about the same size. It's more aesthetically, let's compare them rather than actually let's compare them. So there you go. And this is not. I know that they did. Fabio did a model for Eagle Moss for the Daedalus. I did these renders long before that. So it's a fan model. But I mean that it's many extrapolations is the model. So this is a version. But what do you think then of the older TOS and then the refined maybe? Pasteur. Are they as different as you thought? It's more similar than you thought?
It's a little bit more different than I thought secondary hull wise, but I mean, as far as a retro design on an old, it's like the top one is a 1967 Camaro and the bottom one is the 2015 Camaro, when they came out with that retro styling of the same ship or the same car. That's the vibe I get from it. You can tell what they're going for, and it's done so sleekly and so awesome that it just looks fantastic. I'm really impressed with this. This makes me smile. This is going to be a desktop wallpaper for me.
Oh, well, that's nice.
So, yeah.
Cool. I do think that's a great summarization. The Pasteur is a better design. It's actually designed. That's the difference. The Daedalus is pieces put together. The Daedalus is the Pasteur is very much designed, and it's got nice curves, and there's levels, and there's dimensions, and the neck's not too thin, and the nacelles are interesting, and it takes, like you say, a very basic concept, but makes it into a design.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love these.
But top view, just for interest's sake, yeah, for viewing pleasure.
Yeah, I'm glad you included these, because I would have said, well, I like to compare it to the Daedalus. I know, right? I just love it. I'm just blown away. And like you said, the last ship that they showed in TOS, or not TOS, TNG, the last miniature they built was this, which is a way back callback to the Daedalus, which came before the TOS Constitution class. It's just amazing. And I think it was kind of an homage to that design, because it was never really shown on screen except for the model in Sisko's office,
which was after this as well. Or well,
I think it was.
No, it must have been early DS9. Some was probably during, around the same time.
Yeah, but it was a nice tip of the hat to this design that's never really seen in Trek, but everyone knows exists somehow. So yeah, I'm impressed. I like it.
And it's interesting how much of an Excelsior vibe from the top it gives off with the secondary hull.
Yeah. Never really considered that, but you're right.
Just just what I saw a little bit.
Yeah. Cool. All right, the next shot is a shot from the rear. This is actually really fantastic. The detailing here. I love that landing area that seems to be marked.
Yeah.
For like emergency medical helicopters. I don't know.
And a phaser. it's a wonderful peaceful ship and a phaser strip of war right behind it. No, it's just defensive, but it's Yeah, it's like a hanger sort of.
Mm-hmm.
It could almost feel just stuck in, but it works. You know?
Yeah, and here again, it does feel very Excelsior-ish. Even the way the struts go in, this raised section at the back, I can see that design in influencing this one as well.
Well, then dare I ask to Dole back? I mean, we think it was a new ship. There's nothing that really says new. That it doesn't reinvent the wheel. It does. It goes into a ball. But I mean, could this be, because like I said, the pylon's the way the back hull, could that actually be an older ship, 30, 40, 50 years old, or in between step, because we just didn't see it, you know. And I mean, we saw the Reliant, Miranda class, and Excelsiors get refitted continuously. I mean, we think it was a new ship. But what do you think? It could have actually been an older ship. Does the styling more reflect that?
I think so. I mean, like I said, with the styling, I almost get like a, Ambassador era kind of vibe from it, the Ambassador class era. I don't know why that is, because like you said, it's probably got updated warp nacelles, stuff like that. But I can see this being a refitted version of an older ship, and not as far back as the Daedalus class, obviously.
Yes.
But yeah, I can see these things flying side by side with Ambassador class ships. I think that would be amazing. I don't know, just me.
Now it's interesting because I'm looking at the Memory Alpha here and the registry. Now we know registries are a little bit all over the place, given that they don't always equate. But the registry is actually NCC 58925, whereas Voyager is 74. So if you take that as an indication, it's much older.
Mm-hmm. I can see that, even though I don't subscribe to that registry theory.
Yes.
Hospital ships just start with a 5, I guess. You don't know.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. I mean, it's such a long bit of trek, and there's no reason to think there's 74,000 star. There's a lot of ships. Make sense.
Yeah,
it's a little bit, not actually too many, but I don't get that vibe. But it didn't give a sense of in this ship in the show which it was. But certainly there are stylings that could be older. Does kind of work actually, and then it'd become an interesting hybrid nacelle almost. But I mean, it's a hospital ship. It's not state of the art in terms of the outside. It doesn't need the new weapons. It doesn't. It's just rooms inside a hull, and you just put on new nacelles to get better speed, and you replace the warp core. I mean, keep it around for as long as you can. I mean, if the Mirandas are around as like low end science vessels, hospital ships, I mean, I'm sure they're in constant use. When have you got time to decommission them?
Yeah. And if you go to the next shot, it's just a closer view of the hangar deck there, hangar bay. Some good details there.
Yeah.
The next shot is the bridge. Now, if that's a bridge similar to the Enterprise D, and that's a skylight in the bridge,
oh yeah,
that's a damn big ship.
Yes, then those slit windows are the size of. Let's not talk about how big they are. Now it's interesting how that
probably just a blinky.
Yes. It's interesting how the scaling of that is a kind of a strange one. I mean, the escape pods are a distinct size, and we're assuming they must all be TNG. I mean, the E didn't exist yet, so they didn't know how much they get bigger. So I guess those are D-sized, but the windows are pretty big. Those slit windows at the top are damn big compared to the escape pods.
Well, those would be like for observation lounges or recreation area.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying those ones especially are very, very big, and then it sort of confuses you how big the bridge dome is. But the bridge, I feel like, is very much an Excelsior thing where the bridge geometry doesn't actually equate to the size of the bridge. Kind of has that slight feel.
Yeah,
and there's 6 escape pods on the bridge, which is a bit of a. Although, because it's so different, could the bridge be in the middle? Could this be the exception to the rule?
Could be. I mean, that would make a lot of sense. People have always said that it should be in the middle of the saucer or whatever. The Federation class Dreadnought does have the bridge in the center of the saucer, as opposed to being on top. So it's not unprecedented, I guess.
But next picture, something is precedented. There's the deflector dish. Just a
That's
slit.
cool.
Yeah. Didn't even know that was for.
Yeah, it's a nice integration, and I've seen different versions of the Daedalus that has the standard sensor dish like we saw in the Constitution class stuck to the front, or even inset. There's a few different versions of it. This one is nicely integrated. I really like that. That's neat.
That does feel more advanced.
Yes, absolutely.
Wouldn't it have been cool if the entire thing was a deflector? Like a 360 slit, so it's got like special properties of deflecting.
Maybe it does. Maybe that rotates in there.
Yeah.
So it can fly sideways. I was thinking that before you even said that. Like, why would that be necessary? I'm not going to say it because it's stupid, and then you said it, so it's a fine.
Well, didn't say fly sideways. That was all you.
Well, with a warp bubble, it doesn't really matter which way you're going, I guess.
I like how they've you know, in a saucer you've got the top saucer, lower saucer. You've got the name that appears on both. I like how it's got the big Pasteur on the top, but there's a little slit or this little sort of bit right here. It's still got the secondary registry, so it still has a very similar feel of upper lower ball. You know, it still follows the same conventions, which is good. It should do. You know, it's that's what the deflector would be as well. You know, it would be secondary hull, but obviously it's obscured and it looks better there. But it's there's logic put into it. I appreciate that.
Kind of, it's a great looking ship. That's all I can say. The next shot is the nacelle struts and the nacelles, and again, yeah, you get that very Excelsior kind of vibe. I do like the way that once they start angling up, they sweep back a little bit. It's not really noticeable in this picture, but it was noticeable in the top views.
Yeah, it's just a nice view. If you go to the next picture, you can see the swoop. It doesn't feel fast standing still, but it feels
elegant.
Yeah.
Even though it's kind of not blocky, but blunt. It's very elegant at the same time. So it's neat.
Even when these designers, I don't know who designed someone specifically. I'm sure it's in the Eagle Moss magazine, but I haven't read that one yet because full episode we do all the research. There's a point when it just feels right, and there's little bits of tweaking the shapes and making the nacelles back, and just it does all come together. It's not, like I said, it's not beautiful, but it's a very you buy it completely, And you don't always buy ships. I know some people don't like the Sabre class and some of those, Wolf 359 ships because they're a bit,
wonky.
Out of the bar a little bit. But this one is also, but it's like, no, you buy it,
Very cool. So thank you for showing this, especially the comparisons with the Daedalus. I really appreciate that. This has been one of my favorite mission briefings in a while, just looking at this. So
it's been heavily asked. You guys have wanted it. There's only a certain number of Federation ships we can do, so we've saved it for a bit. But new renders, thanks to Eagle Moss and Fabio, a great model, and you always like seeing Trek fans doing Trek things, and it's like boom. It's a very well made representation of a classic.
Absolutely. So guys, let us know what you think about the ship. Do you love it? Do you hate it? Why do you hate it? Why would you hate it? It's awesome. Let us know in the comments down below. As always, click like, don't forget to subscribe, click the notification icon so you get notified every time we upload, because we do quite a few videos, and hopefully it's all stuff you enjoy. And don't forget to head on over to Facebook and check out the Facebook group, because lots of great discussions on ships all the time, ships and tech, and it's a great community. So head on over there and join us.
Or support this directly on Patreon. We use Patreon to fund this channel. Basically, we get a bit of money from YouTube, but it's very fluctuating. Patreon is our backbone, so any amount is amazing and lets us do these cool new renders, these cool new episodes, and always try and get new guests and just new things. We can always push our own bar and just keep coming up with good ideas. So Patreon is a massive help with that. You can give any amount, it does all mount up, or a one-time donation at Trekyards.com. Again, hugely important. Or you can join our weekly live streams on YouTube and Super Chat, which is a super way. Oh, didn't even mean to say that. Super way of helping us directly. You put a little bit in the comments. We can shout you out, answer your questions, and we can earn money that supports this channel and lets you all enjoy more content, which is what we want to do and what you want to see. So there are 3 great ways to support this channel. Thanks in advance.
All right, so until next time on another mission briefing with another cool ship, I'm Captain Foley.
I'm Connor Kings. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.